What's up, everybody? Yes, indeed, I haven't checked in for the new year yet, so I am now. Just to bring a quick, short video to touch on something that's going to be a nice relative question. And I got to tell y'all, I have to say thank you so much for y'all patience, for those who are continuing to, I would have to say, listen, those who keep me in good spirit, those who keep me in their thoughts from time to time, even with so much going on in the world and with all your responsibilities that you got to cover. I know that you, of course, out of mind, out of sight. So therefore, when you see me, you check into my videos, you be like, hey, what's up? You may not send a DM or you may not drop nothing within the comment section, but I know that you got me in your mind. And even if you don't, I would like to believe too anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the notion that I'm going with. Nevertheless, Happy New Year, everybody. We're going to make it a good one, as great as can be. There's a lot of narratives being pushed out there already, in addition to ongoing agendas, right? And whatever propagations. But I see it like this. Not propagations, but perpetuations, in fact. Uh, I was just making a serious observation as I was chilling out. And I was also tuning in at the same time. I'm looking at people and I'm looking at the woman in particular. Of course, there's many women here, and I was listening to the wonderful Dr. Ashra Kwesi, which is a master teacher. You know what I mean? I've mentioned him before. Shared his videos. I think there's about two or three of them. You know what I mean, on my timeline. In my on this particular account here, in addition to my YouTube channel in which I've shared some of his content. So Dr. Ashra Kwesi, he represents Ancient Kemet. He's a great teacher. His big shout outs to him and his wife, which is Miss Meriwar Kwesi. All right, not crazy, Kwesi. Let me pronunciate that more clearly before it gets a bit out of line, because actually you don't want to get a person's name wrong. It may be a bit offensive, honestly. So as I'm tuning in, he's making my observations. Of course, he happened to, part of the video, he was speaking about the Immaculate Conception that took place in ancient Kemet, and even before ancient Kemet, just within the African nation, throughout the whole diasporic family, African family, there were many immaculate conceptions being conceived between man and woman. And I was saying to myself, like, as I'm looking, I'm like, and sisters, don't get offended, don't get apprehensive. This is just a relative question, and it should actually be thought provoking, and mainly for the men too, because a lot of what's happening in the world is not only a matter of us being a product of the environment, and of course that means it's environmental, but it's also because of men are out of order in many ways. And I don't even think I have to expound upon that. I think we know what's happening with the so-called manosphere, the masculine toxicity, the effeminization of the black man, and not only the black man. But since I'm speaking about, or mainly would like this video to pertain primarily to my African family, that's going to be top tier, right? We are looked at and we are held responsible, in fact, for everything that takes place in the world. To whom much is given, much is required. Understood. This is why we need more brotherhood and righteousness. That's exactly why God is showing us every day. The universal God force puts it in front of us every day. It's just that a lot of us are so disconnected and our spiritual connection has been severed. And with that connection being severed, we became micro agents. We became cattle, etc., etc. You got me? And so I said, the question is, how many of our sisters is actually fitted in the position to conceive of another immaculate conception, which will bring about a phenomenal change for any established covenant and where we're going in the future? It will create generational blessings, etc., etc. But how many of our sisters is ready for an immaculate conception? Are their minds ready? Do they take care of their body enough to bring forth such a child in which a brilliant child, that'll be an angel, that'll be a miniature god or goddess? Are their minds ready? Are their bodies ready? Are they spiritually ready? I don't think so. However, we do got the capacitance. We got life, we got breath. And for those who would want that, there is a lot that goes with that. You know, it's not something that we could talk about like going and buy a pair of sneakers or an outfit, or want to, start a business or something like that. Nah. To bring about an immaculate conception will requires a lot. And like everything else in the world, it's not just a matter of what we can attain, or obtain. It's a matter of maintenance, more so, and preservation. Many of us could go buy a car, but can we maintain that car? We could go buy a house. Can we maintain that house? And to be more thorough, and in fact, to stay in line with what I'm talking about, rather than trying to be all metaphoric, many of us could go get a woman, brothers, but can we take care of that woman? Can we maintain her? Speaking to myself here, I don't exclude myself from what's taking place. To bring about an immaculate conception, it will be a beautiful thing. But what is hindering that? In addition to many other things that will deal with our growth as a nation of people, right? An immaculate conception will bring about so much pleasure from the gods and angels onto the earth, and it'll please our tribal members, our tribal father, our tribal mother, our heavenly father, our heavenly mother. We always said that it takes a village. Well, when are we going to erect a righteous village? When are we going to constitute a village to establish beautiful covenants? After all we've been through and continue to go through in this particular American system and social and political construct. I don't care what you call it. I don't care what we may want to refer it to or lay claim to, because after all, here's what's going to happen as we continue to rise and become prominent and of righteousness. What's going to happen is that we have to also, in our own households and within our own being, is to construct a system to keep the integrities of what we are living for, fighting for, and preparing to die for. Those integrities must be held in place. And I've kind of touched on that in other videos in which I said, no matter what color we are, for anybody to acquire land, and they may have a spiritual system or a religious practice, and through that the acquiring of land, uh, having a market, produce you got going on, you got doctors, you got engineers, and all those things that will bring about a nation, right? And the family and the covenant, legacy. I mean, everything is connected. I said that it's commendable, no matter what color you are. The reading, the studying, all for what? The maintenance and integrity. Integrity and maintenance go hand in hand. You cluster the word maintenance, integrity got to be there. If you cluster the word integrity, maintenance is there. So it's similar, and inseparable, right? Can't have one without the other. So I just posed that question real quick. I don't want to hold y'all because I don't want this to go past 15 minutes, right? Because as I said before, and I think many people know that when you're doing a video that's not on the Instagram live, it will not be uh, able to, unless I don't know how to make the size of the file shorter or do some kind of conversion to make it fit. If it's over 15 minutes, I don't know how to do that. But I know on my end, anytime I did a video uh, on the regular camera app of the phone and it went past 15 minutes, every time I tried to share it on the Instagram, it wouldn't allow. It will say that the file is too large and is actually past 15 minutes. So it is, it is what it is. But I posed that question, and I guess more so that with what I'm trying to get started, as I've mentioned before, my podcast, but because I'm not trying to make any excuses, but because I don't have a particular place set up with props, and I don't have certain equipment, it is kind of hindering me. In addition to some other things that's happening that makes me quite reluctant to even want to do it, but uh, I'm trying. I'm trying. That's what I can say. You know what I'm saying? So, these kind of questions we got to ask because I know oftentimes we get caught up with just the ways of life. We got to pay the rent, the phone bill, the light bill. Make sure we go pick who's picking up the kids from school, who's taking them to school, um, what time we got to get to work, how long is the work day, how we going to present ourselves at work, and who we got to deal with when we go at work. There's so many things that we can try to, or in fact, mention that'll keep us so busy that we neglect these kind of thoughts or ideas and questions. So I think that's where I come in addition to many others out there who got talk shows and podcasts and things like that to get people back into perspective and to not only that but to agitate, do some agitation, shake the trees, man, and ruffle feathers and whatnot, whatever we want to call it. We need it, y'all, because the more that we neglect it, don't think that you know being under a particular dictatorship that you have to wait for someone like a president to allow you or allow us, in fact, to do this or do that. You get me? So, and yes, brothers, we surely got to get in order. We surely got to get in order. It's not easy. We're gonna do the best that we can, which is what we've been doing in measure. Some of us, I can't wait for the time we really start to not only experience some profound breakthroughs, but to have things manifest upon the earth, bringing it to fruition. Um, and if I could touch on something in closing, as I was talking about making my observations, and I've kind of touched on this a long time, well, not a long time ago, but in some videos in the past, where I was talking about I was making some comparisons between women of different nations and ethnicities. And I was like, when I pay attention to our European brothers and sisters, I see how they move and I see what they do, what they exercise, not just their spiritual practices or their religious practices, which is actually, involved with bringing about immaculate conception. As I see my time winding down here, my mind is getting rapid. Okay, so I see the cleanliness in them, even though they may be going through what they're going through genetically because they have a recessive nature. But I see how they thrive to accomplish these things, and they are accomplishing better degrees of immaculate conception than we are. So peace, love, and light, y'all. Peace.